Hello, this is my reflection video for my EDU 606 class. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Question A, how does the evidence in 1C link directly to the strategies in 4A for RSAW 3? So between my three RSAWs, my strategies were fairly consistent. Some things changed towards the end, and I actually increased the target for him. So my original target for my student was student A will write a 3 to 5 sentence analysis of a picture with correct spelling and punctuation while using a computer dictionary with 60% accuracy. So that kind of changed and evolved to working with vowel combinations like OU, OW, OE, OA. And then eventually it went from 60% in RSAW 1 to 70% in RSAW 3 because he showed great growth over the span that I taught my lessons. So going through and looking at the strategies, I'll break them down. So in my first RSAW, my strategy was to teach direct instruction between OW, OA, OE, and OU combinations and kind of think of the different sounds that they make. So while I was working with my student on the first RSAW, I was noticing that he was having trouble with coming up with these combinations in words like about and mountain. He would have the O letter, but he would not have the following vowel to assist with the sound. So that was something that we had to work on. My second strategy was to provide opportunities for student practice, and I will give him examples of each vowel combination and have him practice with worksheets. So how I broke this down with my data from 1C, the data kind of tells you what he accomplished and what his accuracy was within his sentences. In the worksheet, how it worked was he had different targets in a box, an array of 15 to 20, and he had to identify the real O combination. There were many in there that weren't real, and he had to circle them and write down the 10 examples, 10 to 15, 20 examples that were real. And my last strategy would be to scaffold instruction and then fade to make sure the student understood what he was supposed to do and how to complete the assignment. So essentially my goal was to teach the strategies, to assist with the learning, to then have him be able to apply what he learns on the worksheets to writing his paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences, independently. Going over to RSAW 2, he showed great growth over that span, and I had to increase my target for one of the lessons to 70%, focusing mainly on OE and OU combinations because he had a hard time in RSAW2 identifying those targets. For RSAW3, it went to 80% accuracy because he showed growth over the span of time working with those vowel combinations. And that can be shown in his data. So the reason for going and switching up to that percentage was because when he was working on his RSAW assignment, he was able to create or to gain an access of 72% accuracy, and that can be seen right here. So he got, from his sentences, he got 100 on his first sentence, 100 on his second sentence, 33 on his third sentence, and 53 on his fourth sentence, and he did not write a fifth sentence. So it was not a complete paragraph. Even though it wasn't a complete paragraph, he still showed great growth over that span, which is why I upped the target to 80%. My second strategy for RSAW3 was carried over. It was to provide the student with opportunities with practice. This is something that was working for the student, so I wanted to continue with it and see how he could grow over time. And then moving forward, my third strategy would be to teach the student how to put vowel combinations in the past tense and apply these skills. So my assessment for 4B and how it relates to 4A. So my strategy for 4B is to ensure that student A is meeting his goals. I will continue monitoring him in a variety of outlets to ensure that he is meeting his objectives. I will continue to chart his sentence accuracy results, and I will give a graph below. And that is listed in my RSAW 3. And then on top of this, I will continue to monitor behavior during lessons to see if it plays a factor into his academics. Thankfully for RSAW2 and RSAW3, I didn't see too much behavior. It was more so I saw behavior in RSAW1. So how this relates, going back up and talking about my targets, his overall goal on his IEP is stated as student A will correct spelling errors in a 5-sentence paragraph of his own writing using a variety of sources, i.e. dictionary and technology, with 80% accuracy. So this is 5 complete sentences, paragraph format, 80% accuracy, and this goal is supposed to be accomplished by end of April. So where we started and where we ended, he's already on track to finishing and meeting that IEP goal. Question C, what patterns emerge, insight gained from your data analysis in RSAW3? The student showed that he is able to learn these vowel combinations, and that if he really sticks to it, he can understand the sounds, he can understand the placement, and he can take words that are apart and he can put them together to make real words. And he has also shown that he can write 5 sentences, which prior to my RSCW assignments, he could not do. He had a very hard time sitting down and writing. Most of the writing that he did was independent, and he did not need assistance. He did not need a scribe. So he showed great progress. In fact, he showed a 40% increase. Question D, how did the new 4B evidence be moved into a new 1C? What are the implications for the next steps of the student? So like I said, I am going to continue with his goal. So hoping that we can move from the 80% with 3 to 5 sentences, we can make it so that while he meets the spelling goal, he can also meet the punctuation grammar goal that goes in line with structuralizing paragraphs format. But he's right there. He has, on his last RSAW assignment, he was able to create 3 sentences, one of which he did ask me to scribe, which was the only instance that I had to scribe for him. And so the paragraph that he made, which was in paragraph format, but it was assisted paragraph format, I formatted it for him. He had on sentence one 86%, sentence